Laura, you all set with attendance? No adjustments. I entertain a motion to accept the August 22nd, 2024 school board meeting minutes. Motion by Roger, second by Elaine. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lena?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
Don Emery?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Avery?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Andrew Sylvester?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. And entertain a motion to accept the resignation from Michelle Grimbliss, special education teacher, Spruce Mountain Primary School, with regret. Don Emery and Elaine, any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Andrew?
Yes.
Don Strout?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Don Emery?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
Lena?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes. And we have a high school outdoor club proposal. Mr. Keller.
First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in tonight. So I'm here tonight to ask about the possibility of adding an outdoor club advisor to our groups that we have at the high school. Back in 2023, when I was here to talk about the Moose River canoe trip that we do annually, it was mentioned that it would be nice if we could do something throughout the year, which is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. Unfortunately, with the role that I play, I don't have the time to do it. And I think it's important for whoever does it to be paid for the time that they put in. What we're looking for is an outdoor club advisor that would be responsible for trips and activities in the outdoors. Be connected with the Teens to Trails program, which we have been in the past. We join membership every year, and it's to the point where a couple years ago we won a lottery to do an outdoor skills weekend, and there was no advisor there to be able to do it, and I don't want the kids to miss out on these opportunities. So it would include 5 or 6 trips a year, including the Moose River trip in the summer. It would be a paid stipended position, similar to all of our other activities. It's not in the budget. However, for the past 8 years or 7 years that I've been here, we've had 4 track coaches in our athletic budget. The most we've had over the last 4 years is 23 students participating in that. So really 4 coaches at that point in time is a bit of an overkill. So I would request that we be able to transfer that 1 stipended position from the track team to the outdoor club advisor. When we look at the sheet, I'm sure you have a copy of it. You can see it would be paid similar to every other through the stipend worksheet. The advisor, we would ask that they either be registered Maine Guide certified or go through the Educational Trip Leader program, which I am an instructor for through the State of Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. So it'd be very simple for us to be able to get that individual certified to be able to hold that, because by law they have to have either the guide's license or the ETL certification in order to be able to take our students out on trips that are overnight or on the water. So if they're going to do any canoeing or kayaking, they would have to have that certification, or if they're staying overnight on a hike or something like that. And they would also be one of the individuals that would be included in that Moose River trip every summer. So that's why we're here.
On that stipend, is there a formula that you use as to time amount and to set that?
Yeah, so it would be, the basic stipend that includes the number of participants, the number of weeks, the number of hours per week, and then the number of events that they do throughout the year. So the expectation would be, if you look at 5 to 6 events, then you're talking about one every quarter, plus the Moose River trip, maybe another one scattered in there. And as far as meetings and stuff, it would be 1 or 2 per quarter. Outside of that, basically for planning purposes and, possibly bringing in guest speakers or doing things right there at the school for that type of a meeting, so.
So that transfer stipend would definitely cover it then.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Andrew?
Would this position require a budget, like you just mentioned, bringing in outside speakers? I assume maybe they're volunteers, and would they need an assistant, like if you get like a larger group? I don't know how many you're allowed to supervise by yourself, but would there be room for assistants to help them out for large groups?
Yeah, so by state law, you have to have 1 ETL or guide per 12 participants for anything that's out and overnight or out on the water. So for activities like that, I would certainly help out in those cases. It may be something that we would split the stipend between 2 people if that was more beneficial and would better fit the program. And then I'm sorry, I guess I missed, the budget. So we can apply to Teens to Trails for a grant. We've applied once. We received a $500 grant from them. So you can apply 3 times every 5 years for a $500 grant. We would also be doing fundraisers throughout the year, similar to a lot of our other programs. We used to do, and I'm not sure if anybody in here participated in it, but we'd do cribbage tournaments a couple of times a year for the outdoor club before, before this. So to kind of help offset the costs of those events and things, and, there might be a minimal cost like there is for the Moose River canoe trip, a $75 cost, only if it's a big ticket item and it's going to be expensive. Other than that, if we can do stuff, like we can go out back and we can do a winter skills weekend and things like that and learn all kinds of outdoor skills just in the property that we have right here, so.
Anyone else? Would anyone like to make a motion? Holly?
I'd like to make a motion that we vote to accept the program for the outdoor club.
And could I add a friendly that also include transfer of that stipend from out of,
Which would include the stipend transfer from the track team coach to this program.
perfect. Do we have a second on that? Andrew? Any further comment, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lena?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
John Emery?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
John Stroud?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And I believe I'm Amy.
Yes.
Thank you very much, appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Public comment, we have one person. Andrew? Just for clarification, Andrew was a private citizen during this comment section.
I'm not prepared. Okay, I have very little because the school year just started. But the one thing I wanted to say was there's a bunch of sports going on. I'm not going to list all the ones that aren't home because there's no point, but tomorrow at the high school, around 4 to 4:15 is when the cross-country race is happening, so if you have the chance to go, you should definitely see it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, superintendent's report.
Good evening. Met with Chris Hollingsworth, Crystal Flagg, and Ken Vining to finish up our ESSA3 funding. Remember, that ends September 30th. I chaired the regional recertification meeting for area administrators. Remember, this is Area 1, that includes RSU73, RSU9, MSAD 58, and Rangeley. We take care of all the administrative certifications for that area. I attended the Western Maine Superintendent's monthly meeting in Auburn, where we discussed teacher and staff shortages throughout our area of the state. I attended the steering committee meeting that oversees all recertifications for administrators in 4 certification districts. I just mentioned ours, which was Region 1, but there are 4 regions, and it pretty much takes up all of Western Maine. It goes from Rangeley all the way down to Lisbon. So we oversee everybody's certification. Attended a Zoom meeting on mass violence in relationship to the Lewiston shootings and its effect on area students and adults in respect to higher depression and anxiety rates. And tomorrow, the favorite part of my job, I'm looking forward to reading in 3 classes at the primary school.
Questions, comments for Scott? Seeing none, administrative reports. Ken?
Good evening. Well, I'm not sure where to start, but I was hoping I'd start in a better place than we ended in June. However, once again, we've ended up with several employees that are out. Certainly no fault of anybody. Certainly, most of them have been medical. We have 3 full-time employees now, right now, that's out with medical things, and they're going to be long-term. It's nothing short. I can't say enough of how the summer went and all the work that people put into it to complete the task of the custodials. Even to say of one of the people that are out now, I mean, this guy, one of the guys here, he went in for he said it was okay to say this, he went in for a valve replacement in his heart, and he ended up with three whatever they are, valves, veins that was clogged, so he had to have them 3 replaced also. But this person worked up to the day before he went to the hospital. Luckily, these 3 people, too, I'll say that they worked till almost 2 weeks, and one of them was 1 week before the school actually started, so it really helped a lot. Maintenance crew and grounds crew, there again, I could say a lot, and I know the principals have said some things in the last meeting that you had, but it's not just from the summertime, but it's from every day that they do spectacular things around here to keep things working, keep things running. Being short-handed all the time, it's just a blessing to have such great people around. Major projects for the summer. Once again, I mean, I thought things were going to go very smooth, and they started off kind of rough. However, we did complete, thanks to, I will say, thanks to Thayer, the piping job at the middle school. We ended at it on August 21st. So there again, that was something that we was wondering if we was going to get it finished because of the problems that we had at the beginning. The portable generator, if you go over to the high school, the middle school, you'll see the new generator sitting there. Everything is complete on it except for the testing. Testing will probably happen on, I think it's October 14th that we have a school day off, and the only reason we do it then is so it doesn't interrupt with all the technology and things. Chris gets very upset with me when we shut down for a while. And the vaporizer, that we're having put onto the middle school propane tanks. They came right in perfect June 18th, put all brand-new tanks in, all new piping, all new valves, and then lo and behold, they've had a hold-up on getting the vaporizer. We're supposed to be here in 4 weeks, and it's still not here yet with some complications through Dead River, but working on that pretty much daily. So I'm sure it'll be, I'm quite sure it'll be done before the wintertime. I do want to say kudos to the summer school. Sometimes myself, I look at things and perhaps I prejudge and when I shouldn't. I've watched summer rec before in the other locations, and it was a disaster to the building and things the way it turned out. And I know Scott knows, I was probably one of the ones on the whole tissy here that was saying, I don't think that's a good idea to do it in school buildings. But I do have to give kudos again to Emma. I'm trying to think of her name. Yeah, Emma DePompo. And she did also have a person. I'm sorry, I do forget names awful, but Jared Berry. And I think that Laura could certainly testify for this. We was both very nervous about how the cafeteria was going to look, how the kitchen was going to look, how the bathroom was going to look. They did a fantastic job cleaning up after those 209 kids. I just can't say enough for it. ESSA funds, they're ending here on September 30th. I mean, some part of me says, good, it's a relaxation from no more paperwork and things. But still, I can't say enough that they've really helped my department out. I think they've helped the transportation department. I think they've helped every department. If you look around and see all the things we purchased, I'm going through the things today, and I'm just saying, what a blessing we've gotten. I mean, especially being short-handed. I mean, to get auto scrubbers and things to really keep these floors clean and things, instead of the old mop and stuff, it takes a person, half a night to do it, and now we can do it daily. I just, that zero-turn mowers have helped outside tremendously. New cameras in the buildings. There's just so many things. I mean, this module home you see out here, the module home you see up in the high school, was all paid through ESSA funds, to help out the district as far as room goes. There's just been so many things. I mean, even down as far as my chemicals and paper towels. I mean, it's helped our budget a lot. I mean, but I'm sure you all know that nothing's gone down in price. Most things have doubled and tripled. I think we'll make it through another year on a lot of supplies here and things, but it's something that just has been a blessing, and grateful that we got those things and we was allowed to use them. I thank you guys for the support, for helping me out and agreeing to these, and certainly Scott, Crystal, for putting all the time into it and getting us through. So, I guess I'll end with a couple quotes. We look at times and see what everything goes through and what some of you people have gone through. One quote is, I had to say it, but it kind of makes me think of Bob because he's into antiques, but it was from Jackson Brown, Jr. Remember the most valuable antiques, our dear old friends. And the next quote, I like to say once and in, I've used it before, but it's from Winston Churchill. We make a living by we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Thank you. Norma?
Hello. So I just want to say, first, a big shout out to all the staff. The first day of school, we started out short. Me and my secretary were both driving on the first day of school, and they're just a great team that me and Ken share. So to start off, we have our new gasoline 2025 Bluebird bus that's projected to leave the factory on October 8th. If everything goes as planned, we'll hopefully have it on the road in full swing by the middle of October. That's a wheelchair bus. 66 passenger with slide-out seats, so we'll be able to use it if we don't use it for chairs. In July, my secretary and I went to the annual summit at the Augusta Civic Center. It was interesting and informative, mostly about McKinney-Vento laws and changes to do with transportation. On Monday, August 26th, I got together with the primary principal before that, and she set up a sign-up sheet for the pre-Ks coming in and the kindergarten kids, and we set up a schedule with the parents and families. The students could come in and ride the bus for 10 to 15 minutes so they could see what it was like. We had a great turnout for that. I took them into town so we could go over the railroad tracks and show them how they needed to be quiet when the bus drivers stopped at the tracks. I also taught them how they needed to sit in the seat, and when the lights came on, that meant to be silent. I think that they all enjoyed the experience. Some of it was good for the parents too, because they hadn't rode a bus in a very long time. And we explained to them about using the inside voices. The fall sports are in full swing. School field trips have begun. We still have one sub-driver/custodian and one full-time driver out on medical. We had a driver resign. I have hired another 30-hour driver who was a sub-driver van driver. We have a van driver out on medical, so we've hired a sub-driver. We have one of our custodians helping us out in the afternoon driving a van route, which we're very grateful for him. This way, my secretary and I can be in the office when the buses are out on the road. The first day of school went very well with the buses and students. The first days of pre-K went okay. We have recently paid off all our vehicles. We will only own a new school bus that is getting delivered in October. I want everyone to keep in mind that we're doing as much as possible to keep these buses from rusting out and continue operating properly. We have 4 buses that are 15 years old. We have 10 buses with over 100,000 miles, just a little food for thought. I also have received a few emails about concerns with overcrowding. We do not have overcrowded packed buses with 4 students to a seat on any of our buses. We may have 3 to a seat with the littles and primary students. We have large buses in our fleet. Also, as a reminder, the phone number and extensions have changed to the transportation garage. It changed last year when they made changes to the district phone system. Our bus garage phone number, I'll say it slowly, 207-897-6722, extension 1011. And my direct extension is 1013. Reminder to be out for parents and students to be out to your bus stops 5 minutes before the bus arrival time. And parents, please do not wave your students across the street. This is very dangerous for the students. The bus drivers see things that you don't see, and for some reason that's just a habit that the parents are doing, like come on, and before the driver tells them to cross. And that's all I have.
Questions, comments for Norma? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Robin?
Good evening. We kicked off our fall semester this week. We already have 3 high school completion graduates who worked with us to earn their credential over the summer. We also celebrated our most recent certified nursing assistant graduates who completed their 7-week program yesterday. Maine Health hosted a graduation ceremony after the students completed their state exam. Each student has been offered and accepted full-time employment in Farmington. When I last presented in June, I mentioned that we'd be running a 6-week credit recovery program over the summer. I'm happy to report that we issued 12 high school credits and feel encouraged that the students that we served will graduate from Spruce Mountain High School with their class. We're actively still working with the Maine Development Foundation for the CDS grant to kickstart the CDL Class A program in our community. Right now, we're taking feedback in from the Department of Labor and making adjustments to the structure of our proposal and the overall budget. My understanding is that this is a pretty lengthy process. It's a back and forth. They don't give feedback all in one and then we fix it. It's kind of like this back and forth ping pong. But we are excited to move ahead once we get past this initial hurdle. And lastly, our culinary arts program will begin on October 1st. It'll be slightly longer. It'll be 12 weeks as opposed to 10, as we've been doing in the past. We have an apprentice who'll be working alongside Chef Wayne, and he'll incorporate more lessons from the Serve Safe textbook in preparation for their manager's exam. So just keep an eye on our Facebook page and our monthly newsletter, so you'll have the Google form to order lunch if you so wish.
Questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura?
Okay. Okay. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to start with just concluding and kind of backing up what Ken had said earlier. I feel like the summer programming for food service went extremely, extremely well, and I just really couldn't have been happier with what staff was able to do and the offerings that we were able to give to the students due to the location, and I want to thank other administrators for working hard to kind of consolidate some of our programming. It made us so we wasn't so stretched out and trying to get to all of these locations, and that was very helpful. July 14th through the 17th, I attended the School Nutrition Association's annual conference in Boston, and that was a wonderful opportunity. August 6th and 7th, I attended the Maine School Nutrition Association, which took place in Sugarloaf. And again, it's always a great opportunity to collaborate with other directors and to share ideas and to learn and to grow. I had two staff that attended a week-long training, August 19th through the 23rd, that took place in Mount Blue High School, and it was a culinary training that, I apologize, I don't remember the chef's name that came and conducted the training, but it was really a great opportunity. I believe there was 8 other school districts that was represented there, and we spent days. One day was on making dressings and salads and, sandwiches, and really trying to look at how we can incorporate more scratch cooking into our programs, as well as local products. So that was a great opportunity for both of those staff members, and they both have come back that they encouraged all of our staff to go to that if given the opportunity, and in fact said that they themselves would like to attend again. So I felt that that was very positive. One of the attendees was actually a new hire, so it was actually her first week with the district, which was kind of fun. After the summer program ended, we did install the new double stackable ovens at the high school, and as well, we also did the installation updating of the walk-in cooler and the freezer for the middle school. So that was, obviously, I was very happy to have both of those things done. We got off to a good start this school year. I'm very appreciative of everything that the staff do to ensure for the students that they're doing everything that they can to make this a smooth transition from building to building and to the new processes that they might have to learn. Participation continues to be up. At the conclusion of last school year, we actually had hit a record of 950 lunches served district-wide, and we've had numerous days so far this year that we've actually exceeded that number. So staff is really working really hard and doing a great job, and I couldn't be more appreciative of them and what they're doing. Just to give you a little bit of a breakdown, district percentages for breakfast, we have a 55%. This doesn't factor in any attendance. It just goes with our total enrollment. So I'm sure if we took out the attendance on a daily we would see a greater percentage. For lunch, averaging about 70%. The primary school for breakfast is hitting 74% and 70% for lunch. Elementary is 53% for breakfast and 78% for lunch. Let me put these on because I want to make sure these are right. And then middle school is 44 for breakfast and 77% for lunch, which is an incredible number considering that group. High school is 49% for breakfast and 59% for lunch. I continue to look at these areas and to see where we can continue to grow and expand our program, and that's what we intend to do. So, thank you.
Any questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. Jenna?
All right, so I completed my first summer as the 504 Assistant Special Ed Director. It flew by. I'm used to working a lot in the summer, but I just cannot believe how quickly the summer flew by. I will say one of my favorite parts about being back at school is getting to see all the little kids in the building, like all the kids in general, but seeing the kids playing AYS sports, seeing the kids out on the middle school field, seeing the kids out on the high school field. It's been wonderful to see that and them giggling and being with their friends. This summer, I signed up for the new Special Education Administrator Academy. This is for new administrators. The cohort I'm a part of is for first-year administrators. And this includes other special ed administrators in Maine. So it's really geared towards our state. Once again, we have to consider the federal requirements, but it's nice that we won't be getting confused with New Hampshire or Massachusetts regulations. We'll meet 9 to 10 times over this school year. Fortunately, most of the meetings are virtual, so that makes it really easy. Some of the meetings will be between 2 to 3 hours, and some of them will be 5 to 6 hours. So I am really looking forward to gaining some more knowledge. I mean, I've been in special ed for a long time, but the laws and regulations are forever changing, and that is something we need to keep on top of. So I think you guys heard it earlier, we are going to be losing one of our special ed teachers. We are devastated about it. We love her, but she is making a move that is really good for her. So we have an open position. We are thinking of how we're going to fill that. We have not received any applications for that right now. And we do have 3 ed tech positions open at the primary school, 2 of them in the life skills room, which currently have 2 subs in there that have been consistent, so that is super helpful. But we also have 1 in our kind of social emotional behavior room that's open as well. So we are continuing to put our feelers out, but it's hard when you're at the beginning of the school year because a lot of people have made their commitments and they've signed their contracts. So spread the word if you can. So I just want to give you a little update on what we have for 504s. So we are starting the year with 82 students with active 504 plans. We have 11 that are inactive. So in the future, I probably won't talk about them. They are students that qualify for services, but they don't need accommodations, or they may be homeschooling. So they're really not accessing 504s. But it is still something I need to keep an eye on in case they come back or if things change and they need the support. So at the primary school, we ended the last school year with 8 students with 504 plans, and we currently have 5 because a few of those students moved up to the elementary school. I currently have no referrals physically in my hand, but I will have 2 in my hands tomorrow. At the elementary school, we ended last school year with 12 students with 504 plans, and we currently have 19 active 504 plans. And that is, once again, some kids that came up from the primary school, but we've also had several meetings this school year already. We had 7 kids that were referred at the very end of school within the last 2 weeks, and there's no way to get those meetings in. So those have all taken place. At the middle school, we ended last school year with 29 students with 504 plans, and we currently have 20 active 504 plans. We have one referral in, and I have one anticipated. And at the high school, we ended last school year with 30 students, and we currently have 38 with 2 referrals. Right now, I don't have any anticipated. And when I say anticipated, it's like a teacher or a parent has reached out to me and they're like, hey, this is coming your way. Or they've reached out and asked for the application and, that sort of thing. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Any questions, comments? Thank you.
Thanks.
Chris?
Just wanted to clear up something Ken said about me. First of all, I don't get angry, most of the time. And just for clarification, when Ken says the power's going to be out, it's not like he comes in and says, oh, in a couple of weeks, we're going to lose power in this building, so you can plan for it. No, he comes in and he says, in about 20 minutes, they're going to lose power at the middle school. Nothing's going to happen, right? I'm like, no, just we're going to lose all of our phones and our internet, but besides that. So, not a lot to talk about tonight. We had a busy summer, like Jenna said, got a lot of things wrapped up and done. 2 of them were things that I've already emailed out to you, one I emailed, one I gave you tonight. The emailed one, very quick read, only 100 and something pages, and that's the K-5 teachers' expectations. And that's something we'll continue to work on, and then this year we're working on the upper levels, the 6 through 12 as well. And then also one of the things that teachers had asked for was to have some idea of what was going on with PD, and so they could know a little bit ahead of time instead of always hearing about it the week of. So we worked hard to develop a schedule all the way through Christmas. And of course, it's still like a moving target because things always come up, but at least now that we have a schedule, and if anything needs to change, we can let people know ahead of time, and they'll have an idea of what's coming up.
Questions, comments?
This schedule is a great idea. I like it. And this was developed with the team.
Yes, a professional development team, exactly.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good thing.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thanks.
The only thing I have is just a reminder that committees need to meet and vote in a chair. Policy is meeting September 16th at 5:30 at the central office. If someone from each of the separate committees would just kind of reach out to the other members and say, hey, you can, to vote for the chair, you can actually do it like after a board meeting or something like that, just to get those committees all set up. And under new business, Chris. Kiev, is that Kiev? Overnight trip.
Hey. Good evening. So I'm coming here tonight to ask permission to take the 7th graders to Camp Kiev for 2 nights, 3 days. This is something that 3 years ago we started going to Camp Kiev, and the first year that we went, we got to go for a day trip. Second year, which was last year, we ended up being able to spend 1 night in 2 days, and this year that we're going to have the opportunity to spend 2 nights in 3 days, and this is really a great opportunity for kids to learn self-management, self-awareness, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision-making.
Okay, before we start asking questions, we probably should have a motion. Anybody like to make a motion on that? Elaine?
I would like to make a motion that we give approval to the middle school plan for the outing, Camp Kiev overnight trip.
We have a motion, we have a second. Don Emery, any questions, comments? Elaine?
I know this has been so well received in the past. My own kids, many years, did this in high school.
Yeah.
And it was such a great experience for them, helped with leadership, all of those self-regulation skills. It's a
It's a great opportunity, and the other thing is that they got to be away from their cell phones. There's no technology that's over there, and it really builds those interpersonal relationships that they need, and those skills.
Anyone else? Seeing none? Thank you. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Got everybody? Okay, you got your list of co-curriculars, appointments, hires, transfers, retirements, and resignations. Don't forget, there is a scintillating tour tonight of this building that that Pat just, but these tours are good because it gives you a chance to see the building and see what's necessary and what's going well. So September 26th is our next meeting. It's at the primary school. There's a building tour, finance meets at 5:30. October 10th, the middle school, again, the building tour. Before adjournment, I have something I'm going to read. Pam, I have a copy for you. As people know, our son Brett died tragically on August 6th of this year. 8 days after his death, we found out about a state legislative program that might have helped him. The program, Progressive Treatment Plan, or PTP, was enacted into law in 2003 by Honorables John Nutting and Peter Mills. In 2010, it was strengthened by the legislature. The people who, by legislation, can make a referral to court to enter someone with a brain disorder and a danger to themselves or others include law enforcement and those in the medical field. I have spoken to many in both fields who have never heard of this program. Our son was schizoaffective. A couple years ago, he went out in negative 20-degree weather wearing just socks. Severe frostbite took half of one foot and half a toe on the other. He was clearly a danger to himself. No one told us about PTP. In fact, this past year, the Maine State Legislature voted unanimously to fund a program aimed at teaching referrers what to look for in people in crisis and how to refer them to the program. The cost was set at $266,000. Janet Mills' administration blocked the plan through appropriations, stating the state couldn't afford it. Clearly, Governor Mills didn't think that my son was worth that amount, nor was the 18 people that were shot in Lewiston last year, not to mention many others who may have benefited from this program. Also last year, Governor Mills blocked LD 445, the IMD federal waiver for mental health. That program would have gotten $12 million from the federal government if Maine put $1 million into it. Think what $13 million would have done for people in Maine suffering from brain disorders. Because of this, my wife and I are forming a nonprofit with the goal of educating those who are by law referrers and also supporting them with helpful materials. Since this endeavor will take up most of my time, I feel that I really can't continue as an RSU73 board member. Therefore, I am tendering my resignation from the board effective immediately following the adjournment of this meeting. This decision didn't come lightly. I wish the board the best. Remember, you are here for the children, not a personal agenda. Finally, if anyone thinks for a second they have pushed me out due to their antics, they are more stupid than even I believe they are. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Don Emery, Elaine, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. We're adjourned.